I was 18 years old when we did fellowship, by the way. We just trying to work that out.
And he's still 18 years old. Philippa, as one of the screenwriters, when having the luxury of telling the story over 3 movies instead of 1, do you wish you'd been able to include more things in the first 2 movies? I mean, in the first 3 movies? If you had this sort of pace of storytelling that you have in The Hobbit as opposed to Lord of the Rings, are there things that you guys wish you could have put in the first 3 movies that you had to take out just for time?
Yeah, you mean in Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, sure. So I think of them as just a continuation. Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course, the Old Forest, definitely, and Tom.
Did you think about Tom Bombadil at all? Did you consider about it?
We did. Pete had some very funny ideas, including seeing his hat while they were on the road. Do you remember that? We actually wrote that into the script. No, that will have to be for another generation of filmmakers, I suspect.
Did you have anyone in mind for the cast? For Bombadil?
No, but can I tell you that we did do a wish list, I remember, and it's sitting in a box somewhere because Pete keeps everything. And on that wish list was a young Australian actress for Galadriel called Kate Blanchett. And that was our absolute number one.
On young.
No, this is true. And then...
But I had Kate in a wish list in a box somewhere.
No, for Galadriel. No, that was our first list of possible people for casting.
I see, right.
Well, Benedict, you're playing the ultimate heavies. You're playing the ultimate heavies in this movie.
Sorry?
You're playing the ultimate heavies in this movie. You're playing Sauron and you're playing the dragon.
Yeah.
How would you characterize the difference between these 2 bad guys?
One's a dragon. You need to know this. One's a dragon and one's an all-seeing, non-corporal entity of evil.
Yes.
Did I go away with it? No one screamed, rubbish! One's grit, one's made of something that's vulnerable, and one seems to be born out of everything that's evil and difficult to pin down and actually kill.
Is there any benefit to doing the motion capture that you hadn't experienced before? As an actor, is there something that motion capture gives you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You don't get with standard makeup.
You just make a complete fool of yourself and lose yourself in your imagination, and you don't have to hit. It's much harder what these guys did with green screen, acting opposite ping pong balls and marks of tape, and pretending that's your reality in the whole costume with continuity, taking into account camera moves. I was just throwing myself around a carpeted floor like a lunatic.
And Andy, did you have any advice for him? Did you have any advice for Benedict on how to do motion capture?
Just to make sure we don't get carpet burns, really.
Yeah, put the Velcro in the right place.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank you.
Graham, as Dwalin.
Yes.
As Dwalin. Do you think that the dwarves get enough credit in this movie for being heroes? Because they're not the most obviously sexy creatures.
Well, obviously to the female dwarves, we're very, very sexy. There are, well, I've often thought that the entire journey is seeking a female dwarf. And boy, it takes us a long time. But no, it's nice to be the only representative of my race here today. I feel a little outnumbered by my elven compatriots, but yeah, no, it's been an extraordinary experience being a dwarf when you're 6'3". That alone was 2.5 years I'll never forget.
Luke, can you actually shoot a bow? Did you know how to do that before you took the job?
Yes, yeah.
Where'd you learn? Were you a Boy Scout?
No, I did it in Butlins. No one would know what that is. It's a very working class holiday resort, and I went with my family as kids, and that's what we used to do. We used to archery. But no, I mean, when I got to New Zealand, I really did it properly then, and used a very, very big bow that was much bigger than me, and arrows that were very, very large. And yeah, I could probably do it. We did have to actually do a day. It's a shame, because I think Aidan Turner remembers the day when we were all shooting, because the dwarves used to shoot from the hip, and I used to shoot from the face and whatever. And we had to aim at these little action men that they put on the wall, and I did it. I got it. I beat them.
Kate, as an elf, we haven't had a chance to see you fight. That's one of the things that the elves do better than anyone else. They're the ninjas of Middle-earth. Are we going to be able to see you fight this time? Do you have a weapon?
Well, I actually, in the high school production of The Hobbit, which you did, I actually played the bard. So I was sort of prepared for a bit of fighting. But as an elf, you have to wear, because you're very tall, I'm relatively tall, but not that tall, I had to wear these sort of hugely high sort of disco glam boots, which were... so it's a little bit tricky to even walk.
So underneath that gown, you've got disco heels on. You've got disco heels on under the gown.
Not very, just for height.
We do get to see Galadriel losing it a little bit in this next movie. It's good.
It's a bit judgmental, yeah. I lose my shit, I'm too bad for it. Elven shit.
She does.
I'm sure it sparkles.
She does. She gets to kick Sauron's ass a little in this next one.
Philippa, have you recovered from me smoking you in the Tolkien trivia contest in August of 2010? Have you stopped therapy from me crushing you?
No, but it was very touching because your very beautiful wife came up afterwards and said, I think this is the greatest night of his life.
I had a trivia contest with Philippa, and I won. And I won, and it was. And as I said to you, you don't understand. I'm an athlete who's been training his entire life for a race he never knew was coming.
I think it might have been a little closer than you remember, though.
We could remount the challenge for charity.
Do you remember what you won on? What was the winning answer? Do you remember?
No, but I do remember when Stephen Fry said, "Oh, you've really got the crowd on your side." Is when you asked me who Goldberry was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you actually asked me what Goldberry was, not who Goldberry was.
Oh, did I? I think I did.
Yeah, so you were just trying to trip me up with the old River Daughter answer.
You know what was really funny? It was me and Stephen, and we were asking each other questions. So I think nobody else in the room knew whether we were getting them right or wrong.
Well, that was in the final round.
Yeah.
Stephen Fry and I designed questions for the two of you to start with, and then you guys ended up just, when it all got a little bit crazy at the end, you guys just started firing really hard ones at each other. And none of us really knew, and that's right.
It was when you asked me Goldberry and I put my head down on the table and everyone thought I didn't know what the answer was. But I was just trying to think of the first line of the poem. And so I raised my head and said, "Oh, slender as a willow wand, oh, clearer than clear water. Oh, fair river daughter, oh, springtime and summertime and spring again after. Fall and the leaves' laughter." I think probably...
Normally winners are very modest, aren't they?
Let's never have this opportunity again. Now, I've noticed that there is a difference in class in Elfendom. And Orlando, your father does not want you to date down. Perhaps the two of you could address this. Is there a social message in this movie?
Yes, I'm a low-class elf. Is that what you want me to say?
You are. You're a trash elf.
Low-class, trashy elf. But my shit still sparkles.
Was that on your resume? Is that how you got the gig?
That was on their wish list. We've heard of Angelina Jolie's shit sparkles. We like her as an elf.
Well, Peter, I think based on the time, I think maybe we've. Where are we?
We're okay. We can do.
We're okay. All right.
Another 5 minutes or 2 minutes of questions.
All right.
Have you run out of questions?
Any of the actors here? I'd like to ask about your experience in New Zealand. You know, Lee, for instance, have you been to New Zealand before?
No, I've
before, but I absolutely made the most of it. I love being outside and hiking and stuff, and you can't find a better place for that than New Zealand. Like, awesome hikes. Really, really fun.
I had a feeling when we went down there again. Peter invited us down very kindly. My wife and my two boys and I were extras, and we spent 2 weeks down there. I had a strong feeling that I should never leave New Zealand. You know, it was really like, this is where I will be a man. It really calls to you and says, are you as raw as this mountain is? Did you carve out a life? Plus, no bears.
That's nice.
Does anybody have any anybody do any adventure travel down there? Because there are a lot of ways to kill yourself not being killed by an animal in New Zealand. Did anybody take advantage of any of this sort of adventure?
I went heli. I can say this now because we're out of contract, but I did go up a glacier while I was down there.
And you didn't tell anyone
They helicoptered us up to the middle of the Fox Glacier and then left us there for a few hours. Brilliant. And we went through ice caves. Yeah. And then me and Aidan jumped out of an aeroplane as well.
It's the sort of country I jumped out of things, jumped off things. They didn't get thrown out of or off. I would pretty much did.
Orlando, did you move down there for any period of time?
Like 3 years.
After the movie was over, I understood that you stayed for a while.
I've sort of come and gone a bit, but it's funny actually because there was an email exchange between me and Dom and Elijah just 2 days ago talking about getting residency in New Zealand. Dom was like, we're going to start applying for residency.
Than we initially thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Paulie throws himself off anything and with a bungee on, it's like, unbelievable.
Did any of you come to the stories of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit for the first time through the films? And did it make you then go back to the books, or did you say, to hell with it, I'm never going to read them? Elijah, did you go back and read the books?
I actually haven't. Truth be told, I still haven't read the books.
Never. I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Listen, I've said this before.
Get out!
Okay.
Elijah, do you know how to read?
I do.
You've been in the show business since you were a child.
I read The Hobbit when I was a child, and it was a big book for me. And I had The Lord of the Rings on my shelf, and it was one of those things that was very daunting and was kind of always there. And I thought, I'll get to that one day. And then these movies came about, and I felt like I was living it and experienced it in such a profoundly deep way that I never really consulted the books. I imagine it's something that I will go back to, but I don't know. It was such an experience over the course of such a long period of time.
I loved reading Lord of the Rings so much when I was young that when I got about 25 pages to the end of Return of the King, I took my book and I reverently closed it and I said, I will never read those pages because this story must go on. And I never read those pages. Ever.
Wow.
Well, Evangeline is a serious geek, a serious Tolkien geek.
No, I love Tolkien, but I don't know squat. Like, I can't remember the names, the places, so I fail every Tolkien geek test. Don't try. But I love him.
Oh, he's so disappointed.
I'm not disappointed at all. Actually, you've never been more attractive. What do you think of my hair? Should I keep this? Really fantastic. Andy, tell me about the work. Tell us all about the work you're doing in London now with your company.
Wow. Well, look, I mean, it's been an extraordinary 15 years. When Peter asked me to come, when I met Peter and Fran in London back in 1999, I think it was, and the idea of playing this creature Gollum came up, and there wasn't like an exact method of how it was going to be done, but basically Peter wanted an actor to come on set and be there and play the character and not have Elijah and Sean have to imagine someone. It basically changed the course of my life with such magnitude. Of course, you know, not only was it about finding a way of bringing that character to the screen, but also creating a methodology of work, which again, you know, I then went on. Actually, I have to say that the epiphany for me of kind of where I'm at today came immediately in the last weeks of doing Return of the King, because on my birthday, it was the 20th of April, and I think it was 2003, the last pickups for for Return of the King, and it was my birthday, and Peter asked me on that day, it was literally right at the end of the pickups to play King Kong, and I kind of realised I thought my life was going to go back to normality, to play normal characters in normal films in a normal traditional way, and the idea, it sort of hit me overnight. Hold on a minute, I've just played this 3.5-foot ring junkie, and now I'm going to play a 25-foot gorilla. Wow. This means typecasting is no more. This means you can do anything. You can put on one pair of spandex suits and go and enjoy yourself on the carpet and play any manner of things. And that kind of fascination and enjoyment really has continued over the years. And most of which has been, again, involved with Peter and learning with Weta, who are the most fantastic, amazing bunch of people to work with. Incredible. And it's a sort of knowledge base and a skill set, and which I love and adore, and I do think philosophically as an actor it does break down so many barriers. You can play anything, whatever you are, it doesn't matter. You can play anything. And Weta, they're incredible, and the work that they've continued to do in the facial pipeline, and going back to play Gone the second time and seeing how that all moved on and how the performances are really beautifully rendered now and very truthful to what happens on the set between the director and so on. And it's been a fantastic, amazing, unbelievable journey, of which, of course, I never had any, I couldn't foresee coming at all. And it's ended up with being a position where, very, very luckily now, trying to bring it to the Northern Hemisphere, because I realise it doesn't actually exist in the Northern Hemisphere, it's particularly in Europe. So we have a place called the Imaginarium, which is sort of, I see as a sort of, Northern Hemisphere touch base for anyone who's happening to be doing OAE from New Zealand who wants to drop by and work there. So it's a great time, really enjoying it, and it's very much down to Peter and Fran and Philip and all the incredible experience that they have had. Well, thank you.
You touched on something that I think is really interesting. You said you thought you'd be going back to normal films after doing this. But I think certainly after the first 3 films, what it meant to make a normal film had changed. And the work that you did, actually, sort of as the Lon Chaney of the digital world, is to change what could be done on screen, and for Peter and his team to change for one thing, what spectacle means in a movie. Certainly after the Battle of Palaner Fields in the 3rd movie, I said immediately after the battle's over, nothing can ever be called spectacle again without first being compared to this event. And so, how do you see the change that's happened in film? Like every battle of two people clashing, like close shots of people clashing in a battle on screen these days, looks something like it's an echo of that Dagorlag battle at the beginning of the prologue for the first Fellowship of the Ring. Everything's got that rush and that clash feeling that just didn't exist before. Do you see your work being echoed?
I did a little bit, yeah. I did recognise some about the sort of style in some films that came through in the years following. But I mean, that's amazing. I mean, as a filmmaker, there's no better compliment than to feel that you've influenced the way in which other filmmakers, the tools that they can use and the way that they might want to shoot their movies. So yeah, it's I'm in the middle of doing a battle right now, actually, big battle of the 5 armies.
Would you by any chance have any way to give us an idea of what that movie is like?
Well, we could screen our teaser trailer if people want to have a look at the teaser trailer. Be the world's first screening of the Battle of the 5 Armies teaser trailer. Should we do that right now?
Thank you.
It's all right. That was really just for you, Stephen. I mean, these other people are here as well. That was really just private screening.
Thank you for not giving away the part where the leader of the spy network saves the day. Kate, Galadriel's kissing on Gandalf in there. What's going on?
It's an ancient love story. It was actually born the first time around. I was so sad because I adore Ian, as does everyone here, and I hardly got to do anything with him at all.
What?
I mean, anything at all. Because in the first story it was Lansing.
Oh, you mean in the first one? Of course you don't.
Yeah, the first time around, backwards. And so it was so special. And also having worked with Hugo so intensely on stage over the last 10 years, to sort of 10 years later to go back and then, all the core story, of course Galadriel's just a footnote in The Hobbit really, to have such a beautiful, loving relationship of understanding.
Did you wear any of the original costumes? Did they bring any of the
I thought you
costumes?
said I wear underwear. Yeah. No, but
Elves don't wear underwear.
didn't have. My boys were horrified because they weren't born the first time around to see the figurines and that elves didn't in fact wear underwear. So I didn't. But that wasn't what you were going to wear. That was a bit too much sharing then. I think Ian wear underwear.
I think you buried the lead on that story. No, did you wear any of the original costumes from the first 3 movies in the Hobbit movie?
No, it was all, well, I think the crown was the same, but it was all kind of rebooted and revamped, but of a theme. I wasn't wearing trousers.
Did we use any original costume? Elijah, did you wear?
I don't think it was an actual original. I think it was a remake.
I mean, we tend to keep the original costumes. They're sort of sacred now, so we kind of don't go and get sweat on them again. We're hoping to do a museum one day where we can have all this stuff on display. So we didn't really want to trash the Lord of the Rings stuff for The Hobbit generally, so we tended to make new stuff.
I did have my wig. My wig was the same.
Yeah, my wig was
Oh,
the
really?
same.
My wig was the same. Yeah, we had 2 wigs from Lord of the Rings, and we.
But were your ears different? My ears. Well, your ears continued to grow. You had the same ears.
Well, they had to repart. They had to repart.
Wait a second, your ears didn't fit anymore?
No, he was growing his ears to try and get them to be half as beautiful as Tariel's big pointy ears.
We have an ear thing. Sorry, Tariel was obsessed with
Envy.
I was like, I think they should be a little subtler than that, honey. But she's like, no, I'm going all the way on this ear.
I know how sexy a big pointy ear can be.
They were a bit more aerodynamic.
This time around?
I felt.
Yeah.
But you can only say that in retrospect. I mean,
Peter, speaking of saving things from the Lord of the Rings, one of the things that people may not know is that you've got these huge warehouses in Wellington with all the old
Well,
sets.
they know now, don't they?
All right.
Our secret warehouses, yes. No, that's right.
Yeah, it was just one of the greatest experiences of my life was to walk through.
Yeah.
the Misty Mountains.
Yes, Misty Mountains, go to Minas Tirith, to stand in front of Tower over Minas Tirith or Rivendell, or to actually take a quick look, to really take a look at what you had at the Grey Havens. Because in the movie, you don't get to see any of the mountains.
No, the Grey Havens is beautiful miniatures, beautiful miniature. As you say, it was never really seen. So.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Beautiful, yeah. Well, we've got it all, we've kept it all, and so, we've kept it all for a reason. I want to try to let people see it one day, so more than just you. I mean, it was nice having you there, Stephen, but it'd be nice to have these folk there as well. So.
One thing that you don't see in the movie, I don't know whether you took it out digitally, but when I went and looked at Grond, when you have Grond, it's like the 12-foot long version of Grond there, the warhammer that knocks down the gates of Minas Tirith, is that it's a wolf. A ravening wolf with fire coming out of its mouth, but the prop itself has a penis. The wolf that you made. It's a penis and it's very sharp. It's kind of a terrifying image.
How do you know the wolf's penis is sharp? Did you touch it?
I'm a super fan.
I mean, I never actually realised it until you pointed it out. It wasn't removed. I mean, no one ever asked us to remove it in the film.
Did you remove it? No.
Must be there somewhere.
It's there.
Yeah.
Stephen, it's because of people like you running around and touching wolves' penises that Comicon is a scary place to be.
All right. You ready to do some fan questions?
Yeah.
Everybody out there? We've got microphones in, let's see, where are they? Right over here, where the light is. And the young woman wearing the armor buttons. Yes.
This is the Lord of the Rings cape and Hobbit cape. Everything on here is Lord of the Rings and Hobbit. In 10 years, I expect to be back here watching clips from the Silmarillion. First things first, in dragon voice, Benedict, could you say button lady?
Lady.
Thank you. My question, that was great. My question is for a couple of the elves. We've seen that two-shot of Bard and Legolas. My question is, does Legolas teach Bard about archery, or does Bard teach Legolas about archery?
Oh, whoa. Ooh, I like the way you're going with that.
We have a bow off.
You do get to kill the dragon, I suppose.
Do you want a sensible answer or do you want a silly answer? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Well, did you ever...
Bob told me everything I know.
I've seen your archery skills.
The truth is, both of these guys are particularly good at archery in real life. And so they're both sort of quietly, I think, thinking, how do I tell them I'm really good? But this guy's okay, but I'm not really good.
Yes.
He's got longer arrows and a bigger bow, but not quite as good a shot.
Is that a metaphor?
Sorry.
Oh, my arrows are sharp. Very long.
Wolf's penis.
Yeah, buddy, your question.
Firstly, to Mr. Jackson, to everyone involved in these, thank you very much for bringing these super epic movies out. My question, my children, Logan and Olivia, wanted me to ask this to Mr. Lee, but he's not here, but perhaps the cast could answer. Who do you think is more evil, Saruman or Mr. Wonka from the Willy Wonka movies?
Willy Wonka is not evil. Willy Wonka is a master.
No, Mr. Wonka, the gentleman who kept his son in that races and let him leave the house at age 10 and all those.
You got it there, bro. Don't often see that.
Pass that question on to Chris Lee when I talk to him next.
The young goddess.
Hi. I'm a huge fan of Tolkien and Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and I'm also very interested in the technical aspects of acting. So I was wondering to all the actors on the panel if you had any specific technical techniques that you used in order to get in a character, especially considering that sometimes you don't actually have an actor to play off of.
He's looking at me.
Andy Serkis has been voted the answer of that question.
Well, you know, the fact of the matter is that although there's technology involved in the way of creating characters, I can only speak from my point of view, of characters like Gollum, really, what it is exactly the